What's going on, family? Welcome back to another lovely YouTube video. Today we got the SI in the background, and the reason being is because it's been about 2 years of ownership with this car. Now, what I wanted to do today was give a little bit of a breakdown for those who are new here, but also give you guys my ultimate 2-year review. We've owned this SI for so long now, there's been so much done to it, and especially for those future SI owners out there, I definitely want to give you guys a breakdown of what I think of this platform. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so what's done to the car so far? Well, we have the complete ube-made front splitter, canards, side skirts, and a custom rear diffuser. All this is handcrafted, and I'll go ahead and put his Instagram and YouTube right here. But none of this was really meant for track. The vision was to go track, but ever since we got bit by the power bug, we've kind of mained on power. But aesthetically, that's where it was kind of routed to. It, you know, kind of gave it that track look. And again, like I said, it was just made for aesthetics. So functionality wise, I don't really know, but we've hit about 160 in this before. And I mean, it's all still there. So it's either we just accidentally made it aerodynamically functional, or, I mean, I don't know. Now the wheels we have on this car are the Oddhans LS007s, which are just actually some replica wheels. They actually look pretty good. They're not like real wheels, they're not raised or anything, and they do have some slight curb rash. That's why I'm not gonna getting close to them. But these are actually one of the first mods that I did on the car when I first purchased it. And you know, for me, getting into the modification game, I didn't really have the money for some crazy wheels. This was offered to me by a friend, and I wasn't gonna miss it. And so far throughout the years, it's actually caught a lot of attention and a lot of people like it. I think with the combo too, with the silver, it's done well. But definitely some real wheels in the future. I do have a whole entire aesthetic vision in mind. I just don't want to spoil it yet. But to give a hint, either raise or Titan 7s in the future. And then as for what we have the wheels wrapped in, they're actually wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. These are actually 235 by 35s. Actually, in these wheel sizes are 19s, so we're not getting the best grip that we should. I definitely want to go back to 18s, but I love my Michelins and they do the best. If you want a tire recommendation, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's are definitely my go-to. And now coming to the rear, we have the beautiful ube-made diffuser, which really complements the rest of the body lines, and especially when you got it paired with the side skirts, front splitter, and the canards, of course. But not only that, we really made sure it complements the DTS exhaust from ARP Performance, and I definitely would say that this exhaust is in my top 5 compared with DDR. This exhaust sounds really well, it's not raspy, and it has that nice bass tone. If you haven't seen the YouTube video for that, I'll go ahead and pop it up here for you guys as well. But that is definitely one of my favorite pieces. And it's funny because this rear end I was never a big fan of. I don't like these really C tail lights. It wasn't really one of my highlights when I first purchased the car. But I know that I liked it a lot better than the coupe. No diss to the coupe, guys, but I'm sorry, the unibrow just was not for me. And I'm not gonna say that they look ugly now, because after owning this for the past 2 years, this actually looks attractive to me, and especially the coupes too. So the tail lights have definitely gotten with me, but now that we have this whole pair on the rear, it definitely looks a lot nicer as well. All right, so I know a few people are gonna wonder, but Ryan, what lowering springs are you on? What coils are you on? Believe it or not, these are actually still lowering springs. These are D2 Racing. They give about a 2-inch drop. Coil lovers are coming up next, but I've really enjoyed the drop that this has given me. I've had these for about the past 2 years actually, and yeah, they're kind of wearing out here and there now, but if you wanted my input, there would be a split between a rough track feel and a medium soft feel. Just because of the fact that they can ride soft, especially off sport mode, but once you're in sport mode, it definitely is pretty bouncy and rough. But it puts you in confidence when you're just trying to take some corners. So if I were gonna give these D2s a rating, I'd give them at least an 8 out of 10. I've actually enjoyed them a lot. I love the drop that they give, and it just really complemented the rest of the car throughout my entire journey. So believe it or not, yes, they're still springs, guys. They're not coil levers yet. Now, we also have a genuine Type R red badge. No, I'm just playing. Yes, it's a red badge. And for those of you, because I know I see a lot of comments out there, why would you put a Type R badge on your car? Guys, it's a badge, first off. It's not just meant for the Type R. There's a lot more homage behind the badge if you really know about these. But it just complemented the rest of the car just because of the red. Okay, we have a red SI badge on the front and rear, and I figured what would pair best except for just a red badge. So, yes. Alrighty, now with the interior. Now there's actually not a lot going on. We have the beautiful last fit mats, these nice weather protection ones, and I know they're a bit dirty right now, but these have been doing me well. On top of that, I gotta say, with these seats, oh, I love them. I love how bolstered they feel. I love the aggressiveness of it. At least, like, they're not so aggressive where they're like the Type R aggressive, but just slightly aggressive to not only give the look and appeal, but to actually make you feel comfortable and locked in. The only downside, and I'm sure you guys already see it now, is how this happens. Now this has happened obviously through the years, and it's actually been common for a lot of people with their SIs. And I know it's because of your placement of getting in and out of the car. That's something to look out for. But yes, this sucks. Now I'm actually not too upset about that because these will be replaced with either like Sparkos or something. But of course, seeing that every day still, definitely not my favorite. So when you get an SI, just watch how you get inside your car because this may happen. Aside from that, for the interior, we don't really have much. Like I said, we have the synth carbon bits here on the steering wheel. I do want to replace the steering wheel. That's something I've been procrastinating on just because it's not really been the most priority. Same thing as just changing out this faux carbon here and putting actual carbon there as well, because I know there's companies that do that. But aside from that, we have our Serimoto flex fuel gauge. That's what reads my ethanol content. And then we have the beautiful Acuity shifter that I've had for the past, I believe, year now. And that guy has been doing me solid. Probably one of my favorite things inside the car. All the small stuff, we have our Valentine one, which is my basically cop radar, which this is actually the incognito display. The real one's up there. So this actually shows me everything down below. I've kept this hardwired into the car, so that way it's always on. And it's done me justice for the past 5 years, so even before the SI. Aside from that, we did a little bit of modification that you guys can see, as we added the Type R switch here. No, I'm not a Type R, but I like this a lot better because before it was a button like this, and I would accidentally click it time to time when I would want to be in sport or non-sport. So to replace that, we just did the switch. Yes, it does some special wiring. It's not just plug and play. But all it does, guys, is just put me in sport mode. It doesn't put me in R mode or comfort mode or anything like that. It just goes between sport and non-sport, but it just looks aesthetically better. All right, now let's get serious here. What's under the hood? All right, underneath the hood. Now, if you've seen previous videos, you guys would know that we are rocking a PRL 2860R Gen 2 Turbo Kit. So we have our Garrett Turbo right here. On top of that, it's full bolt-ons. So you have your PRL Intercooler piping, here and there, all the charge piping's there. Our Serimoto flex fuel kit right over there. Front pipe, down pipe, of course. We're actually rocking an FKX front pipe with, of course, the PRL down pipe. Just because of the kit, you need the PRL down pipe. I don't know if you guys already saw, but here's the intercooler, PRL, of course. And I feel like everything's PRL. And then for motor mounts, we're still on the stock motor mounts. The only thing we've replaced is the rear motor mount way over there. So that's the only motor mount that I've actually changed. Other things too are the Hondata MAF sensors. I'm forgetting. I think they're called MAF sensors. I don't know why I'm blinking right now. I'll probably correct myself here in the video. But we have those which allow us to exceed past the actual stock boost limit, which is 31, and we can go past that now. Have we progressed past 31 on this build right now? Not yet, because we are still limited, guys, by the stock fuel system. Still stock injectors, still stock fuel pump, and that's one of the things we still need to advance to because this car is direct injected. So that's something we definitely need to upgrade. But aside from that, with the kit, you also get this aftermarket blow-off valve, and that's the only time I would recommend changing off the blow-off valve. If you are a new SI owner and you plan on building your SI, don't change the blow-off valve. I promise you, if you get the PRL cold air intake, the Cobra cold air intake, it's gonna give you the whooshing sound that you need, the whooshing sound that you guys want. Getting an aftermarket blow-off valve on this platform isn't the greatest. They don't really like it all that much, and on top of that, you run into a few problems too. I've at least seen with a few people. The only time you do want to change it is actually when you get to the PRL Turbo Kit, because it comes with the kit. Other than that, Boomba and all that stuff, don't get it, guys. I promise you, you're going to be saving yourself money, and plus, it doesn't really add that much performance. I know you guys have seen this in previous videos, but again, for any of those who are new out there and wanted to see what's going on, this is what we have going on. Aside from that too, for any of those who are new, this is a completely built block, and on top of that, we're rocking a built trans as well. So all the information is actually down below if you guys do want to see all the specs on this car. But yes, this car has been gone through quite a bit of a journey. We've blown the engine before in the past, and that's because we've learned that exceeding at least 300 will, or being at that threshold, is risky. I don't want to say that you are going to blow, but it is risky to be basically in that field where you will blow. And that's one of the things that I hope Honda improves on with this new engine, this L15B7, and make the internals a lot stronger, because the rods are actually not that strong and they're very thin too. So that's something we've learned along the way of the journey. The transmission issue, it just seems like fourth gear and third gear really kind of go out a lot. So you just got to watch out for that. But again, that's when you're exceeding power and everything. Right now we're not at that much power, we're only at 350 to the wheels and 351 torque. It helps a lot now having the bigger turbo, but the only drawback though is that we're not getting the full potential of this turbo. Again, we're only at E30 right now, and the goal is to get to full E85 and be able to rock 500 to the wheel on this platform, which has already been done, and I want to get there myself. I just want to find the best solution for me as a daily driver. Something that I do want to add as well to Honda, and I know they've probably fixed this hopefully in the newer models, but at least from 2017, 2018, and maybe 2019 and 20, this has been an issue. The grille alignment has always been an issue. Even when you would get the car from new, this would still not align too well. I know this is also a factor because of my splitter that weighs it down as well, but even beforehand I always had this issue. So I'm hoping for newer models and such, they also fix that. That's a lot of things that I notice, at least with that. Same thing with the bumper fitment. Sometimes this sticks out a little bit, and that's something that I'm not too happy about. For the longest time, a lot of you guys were like, Phong, when are you gonna change out your side markers? Well, guess what? If you haven't seen the update, we have actually changed them out, guys. We've got this now smoked look. At night, it is just amber, but you guys can stop bothering me about it now. Thanks to my buddy Dustin, he gave us those. I forget the brand, but they look a lot better on the car and blend a lot better. So you guys can stop nagging me about my side markers, okay? We got new ones. Now basically all the small stuff, we have last fit, high beams and low beams. We also have the fogs, and on top of that, we have synth carbon to fiber mirror caps here, and I'm trying to see small stuff. I believe last fit bulbs also on the back as well, especially for the brake lights. Over here we actually have Corso Motions LEDs. So actually at night these are just reflectors, but at night these actually light up with LEDs inside. So this whole thing actually blends, and then when we hit the brakes, you actually see that difference too. I'll try and get some clips here. I know it's pretty bright outside right now, so I don't know if I can get that, but when I do hit the brakes, these do get a lot brighter, and it actually just complements the whole rear a lot better too. So those are actually some things that have been upgraded on the car as well. But again, those are some small things. I didn't want to really talk about all like the LEDs inside the car. Again, if you guys want to see all that stuff, you can definitely see that in the past videos. But mainly from that, other things that we've also changed is the brake pads and the rotors. We actually have R1 concepts wrapped all around front and rear. Rotors and brake pads as well. So we're actually running their performance pads, and then for their rotors we're just doing the carbon geomet slotted. So not slotted and drilled, just straight slotted, as you guys can see here. And we have that again on the front and over here on the rear as well. So for my rating on that, stopping power, they actually do really well. I did want a big brake kit, but honestly, at least with my whole setup, these did just fine, and in the future we can go ahead and upgrade to a big brake kit later on. All right, well, hopefully I kind of covered everything, kind of give you guys my input on the 10 Gen platform on that. Now to kind of speak about for those who are expected to try and get one yourself. If people are trying to tell you it's slow, I will tell you right now, this platform actually surprised me a lot. With a simple flash tune, and actually just a flash tune, you can definitely ump the power quite a bit. And there's also over the shelf tunes now that will put you at least at like 250 or so will. So for what you get out of this car and what you're able to do and what capabilities it has, yes, you can make power, and these can actually be pretty fast just right out the box. Yes, there's a little bit of a drawback though. As you guys know, we blew the engine and now the trans at least a few times. But that of course has to do with just the limitations of what this engine can handle. So yes, if you're planning on doing this yourself and if you're planning on modifying yours as well, just be wary of that and always be safe. There's always going to be a risk, of course, when modifying any car, and that is one of the risks when you try to modify this platform. So again, if you plan on trying to go deep with it, build the engine. That'd be one of my first suggestions from doing anything with the car, is building the block. If you build the block, you're putting yourself already safer, and on top of that, you're just already setting yourself for complete success. Second, I think second thing would be a great way is if Honda actually upgraded these clutches, because a stock clutch on this platform is literally like paper. It doesn't really handle well. Literally after flashing the car, you're gonna start having it slip over time. What I have currently on the car is a Type R retrofit clutch from E-Man, aka K20Z3 on motor, but there are other clutch solutions out there like Action Clutch or so. And I will tell you right now, if you're planning on going for power, replace the clutch. Right off the bat, replace the clutch, get through the braking period, so that way when you do increase power, you don't have to worry about breaking in the new clutch. You've already broken it in, and you're gonna have fun just getting to just having more speed. So that's another thing, if you plan on getting this platform, is doing stuff like that. I'm trying to think right now. I feel like there's so much to say of things to improve or things as a first timer when you first get this car, but I just can't think of it all. So if you guys want, go ahead and put your input for any of my SI owners out there too. For any of those newbies out there, you guys want to go ahead and put some input for them, so when they get their first engine, they kind of know some little kinks and tips and tricks on what to do. So flood the comments, guys, let them know what's up. I hope this video helped a few people and also gave some insight on this car. But after 2 years, I will have to say, as a complete review, this has been one of my favorite cars that I've ever owned out of all 3 cars that I've ever owned. This one, believe it or not, I would have never thought would have been a Civic, has been an enjoyable car. I've actually owned 2 other cars before this, which was a 2014 IS350 F Sport, and then my first car, which was a IS300. And so yes, both Lexuses. Now I moved on to Honda. Never thought I would love the Honda more, especially from the F Sport. A lot of people were actually disappointed that I got rid of that car and ended up getting this car, and actually you can see that car in past videos. But I'm glad, because this is obviously now a lot faster, a lot more fun, manual transmission, turboed. I mean, overall, it's been the most fun car that I've ever owned. So would I ever go back in time and change it or get a Type R? No. I've had so much experience, so much knowledge with this car, and I've actually enjoyed this a lot more. So with that being said, hopefully it gives you guys some insight and makes your future purchase easier for those interested in getting an SI. So, all right, enjoy the cinematic clips. I will see you guys next week, or actually I'll see you guys later this week for a second video. But as always, keep grinding, stay humble, and yet at.